but that's just me. But I want to know, how do y'all feel about culture drawing on Cardi B's bags, and how do y'all feel about her spending $60,000 on her bags? Now, I did see a lot of comments coming down on Cardi B for spending that type of money on any type of purse. I mean, it doesn't bother me because number one, it's not my dollar, okay? And number two, I understand that everybody is not gonna be in my tax bracket, okay? What you can afford, someone else might can easily afford, and that's okay. But I want to know what you guys feel about this whole situation. But that's all I have for you, and I'll talk to you later. Somebody love you, baby. Oh, oh, oh. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Yeah, my shit on the pyro's looking a little dry now because it's been out for a minute. I should have covered it, huh? What up, y'all? I got fucking going on. Look what I just did. It's not over what? This is my best friend, y'all. Hold on. This is my best friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is my driver. Look at him. Happy as fuck. Look at him, happy as fuck. I did. He's waving at you. Look at it. Look at that. You wanna know what the secret is? The secret is you gotta put heavy cream in the bottom, and then of course I did my own cinnamon stuff concoction. You know what I'm saying? I actually cooked earlier today. My pyros are.
You almost got a scene in his face, huh?
He was 8 years younger than her, just 22 at the time of her death. It's unclear exactly how they met, but at some point, things got serious. They got married, had a baby, and started a life together. Now, to the outside world, they looked like your average young couple, balancing work, school, and parenthood. But behind closed doors, it was a different story.
South Windsor police are working with state and federal authorities to try to track her down.
I'll be meeting with the town manager and the police chief tomorrow, and we're going to look at all the resources that we have to try to help in this effort to bring Jessica home safely.
On May 10th, 2021, Jessica vanished.
If you know anything about Jessica's whereabouts, call police.
Her husband, Taj, went on social media and played the role of the worried husband. He posted emotional messages like,
"It's another lonely and worrisome night without you, my..."
This is crazy, bro. Niggas really be that mentally ill. Nigga went back on the internet to type and make it seem as if. And he could go to bed at night after that.
I love. Son, and I miss you so much. I don't have an appetite to eat or sleep knowing that you aren't here with me. Every time I came home, you were always there taking care of our beautiful son that we created. Whenever I was down, you always lifted me up. I've never even been so many days without you. My heart is broken right now, shattered, and my emotions all mixed up. Please, 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 wherever you are, come back safely.
Wow,
he wanted
that's
people
fucking
to believe
insane.
that Jessica had just walked away, that she left her baby, her family, and her entire
Nigga said,
life
please,
behind.
please,
I love you
please.
and need you so much, and our son worries about you too. I feel like he barely wants to eat. Please, I love you so much.
But her family, they weren't buying it. Something wasn't right.
Documents just released on the death of Jessica Edwards. Today, her husband
So he must have been on bullshit.
charged in her death.
Turns out, Jessica had argued with Taj the night before Mother's Day. It was over a gift, a pair of guinea pigs that Taj had bought for her.
And the arrest warrant, it states the day before Mother's Day. Hutchinson bought Edwards guinea pigs as a gift, and she was angry about it. On Mother's Day, their argument led to a physical confrontation.
Now, was she upset because she hated guinea pigs? Maybe. But what really mattered was how that argument escalated. By the next morning, the
Like, I
fight
said you
turned
bitch.
physical.
According to police, he said he pushed her, which caused her ear to bleed. The next day, on Monday morning, according to the warrant, their arguing continued, and this time, she said Edwards hit him in the head with a laptop, grabbed a kitchen knife, and he pinned her to the ground.
Jessica fought back. She hit him with a laptop. She grabbed a knife. She was defending herself. But Taj was bigger and stronger. He pinned her to the ground, kneeling on her neck and back, just like what happened to George Floyd. She struggled. She tried to breathe.
Not
And
George
then
Floyd.
she stopped moving.
And eventually, she stopped moving and died. Later that same day, Edward's sister went to Hutchinson's home on Cinnamon Springs Road in South Windsor. Police say she told them she saw in the trunk of his Jeep what appeared to be a blanket covering her body.
Taj left her there, lying on the floor,
Look at this
for
bitch-ass
hours
nigga.
while their 7-month-old baby was in the house. Then, he wrapped her body in a blanket, put her in the trunk of his Jeep, and drove her to a remote wooded area in East Hartford, where he dumped her like trash. And while everyone was searching for Jessica,
Damn, dumped her like
crying,
trash.
posting her
Crazy
face
work.
all over social media, Taj was out here acting like nothing happened.
How can niggas be so bitchy? How can niggas take their baby, your child's like this is
Even when Jessica's sister showed up at his house demanding answers, he played dumb until she saw something inside his trunk.
She demanded him to open up the
Yeah, open that shit up, nigga.
set off. She also told police she found the newspapers filled out by Edwards, but was never
Oh God,
found.
we would have been on high speed.
She screamed at him to open the trunk, but Taj panicked. He sped off before she could do anything.
We
And
would have been on high
documents,
speed.
he
I'm
went
not
on to
gonna
say
lie.
he drove to a random GPS location and tracked the body to a wooded area, which is where Edwards was eventually found on Friday by Driver Road in East Hartford.
And that's when police really started looking at him.
How can someone pretend that they didn't know what was going on with her, and all this time they knew what the heck was going on? Like, you must have played it out real good for thinking nobody was gonna come out and do anything.
Taj's story kept changing. First, he said Jessica had left with friends. Then, he said she got aggressive, and he was just defending himself.
Jessica Edwards was first discovered missing May 10th. Her husband, 22-year-old Taj Hutchinson, initially claimed she got into a car that morning with friends and never returned. Police doubted that story and searched areas in South Windsor, Manchester, and East Hartford, finally finding her body in a wooded East Hartford area May 21st. Hutchinson was arrested that evening.
Jessica's body was found 11 days later, and Taj was arrested. He was charged with manslaughter at first, but the truth was clear. He murdered his wife, and after months of investigation, his charge was upgraded to murder.
He later confessed to having a physical altercation that led to Edwards' death. Now, after months of investigation, the initial charge of manslaughter has been upgraded to murder.
Jessica's mother was heartbroken.
No one should have to go through something like this. Nobody should.
And let's not forget, Jessica and Taji's child lost both
Look at this
parents
stupid ass shirt he got on.
that day. One to murder, the other to prison.
I was happy. I was elated. Finally, something has been, I appreciate that something has been done, something is being done.
I think that should have been the charge from the beginning. So I believe they gathered enough evidence just to make sure that their case was going to be solid.
In November 2024, Taji stood before a judge and received his sentence, 27 years in prison. For some,
That's it? That's it.
it was justice. For others, it wasn't nearly enough.
How does this
Because
shit
the
work?
truth is, Jessica should still be here. She should be raising her son, building her career, living her life. Instead,
He was 22. He was 22. So, he got 27. Like,
it's
nah.
another name on the long list
nigga
of
likely
women
to be
lost
over.
TV, along with Kierna Burns.
That nigga's life needs to be concluded.
What's up, y'all? Snowing outside, still gotta work, still gotta go make it happen, because you want to, not because you have to, and that's where we position ourselves in our life, and we get up because we want to, not necessarily because we have to, but the fight is never finished.
Kiana and Ronald Burns weren't just a couple, they were a brand. They built their lives around inspiring others, teaching people how to be successful entrepreneurs.
He's like a deacon in the deacon's
Hi,
life.
I'm Ronald Burns, and this is my lovely wife, Kiana Burns. Today we're going to talk to you about entrepreneurship and how it really benefit our lives.
For those that don't know, my husband and myself have been entrepreneurs for the last 20 years.
And our mission is to bring you guys along to become successful entrepreneurs as well.
And in being in business over 20 years, guys, one of the fundamental things that we believe is that you should never spend all of your business time.
What's one of them videos you had to watch like for orientation at work or some shit? And you be falling asleep.
Building somebody else's business.
Kiana and Ronnie weren't just talking about success, they lived it. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, they built their brand from the ground up. They ran For His Glory Ministries, a faith-based motivational platform, and owned Boutique Designs Beauty and Barber Salon, where they helped others build careers.
You should be in a position of leverage income where you make money that doesn't require your time. So one of the things we're going to teach you is what does the wealth people understand that poor people don't. They understand how to make money without their touch. We've been taught to go to school, get a great education, graduate, and get a good job. How about
talking this shit, ain't it?
education and choose?
You know some shit. You must just be crazy or something.
Your money doesn't require your touch because you only have 24 hours in a day.
For over 20 years, they were business partners in everything: love, life, and money. But in 2021, they decided to take a leap. They packed up their lives, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and planned to expand their empire. To their followers, they looked unstoppable, but in reality, the move wasn't easy.
I just felt the need to hop on here for just a moment, not long at all.
Dang, guys,
And
I'm
y'all
gonna,
just
oh,
talk
there we go.
about,
I was gonna say, I gotta have my husband come look at that.
you know, life changes.
Just a few weeks before the tragedy, Kiana went live on Facebook, and what she said, it hit differently after what happened.
Someone
she wasn't her
draw.
usual bubbly self. Instead,
Aw.
she looked drained, exhausted, and on edge.
But look, y'all.
Is that the profile picture?
If you don't stay prayed up,
Sorry, I'm not too hip, guys. So tell me what PFP means. I think that's profile picture. I'll be right back. It's gonna be a little moment, but I'll be right back. If you guys wanna hang out, you can. If you wanna go, you can.
for those that don't know, about 5-6 months ago, my husband and myself, we moved to Atlanta to expand our business.
She also admitted that moving to Atlanta had been harder than expected.
I'm telling you guys, like, the transition, it wasn't necessarily a smooth one. It wasn't a hard one either, but it was something that we chose to do. When you come to a new state or city and you're trying to learn, or when you're trying to learn, you know, the things that they do, and that can be challenging. And coming here with our kids, just us and our kids, you know. It's just us.
And then, she said something that now feels chilling.
And if you don't feel like you're a strong enough individual, some things may take you out.
Was she reaching out for help? Was she warning us? Or was she already losing control?
Honestly, if I'm being totally, perfectly honest, I'm having one right now. And the reason I'm going live is because sometimes you gotta reach out and tell people that you need love.
I guess about 7 months ago, something like that, 7 months ago, when my wife and myself, we decided we was gonna get a divorce, that we ain't wanna be with each other no more, we was just done with each other.
Here's where things get even more complicated.
Wow.
Around 6 months before the murder, Ronell revealed something shocking. He and Kiana had actually planned to get a divorce.
She was tired of me, I was tired of her, going about our business.
Damn.
We sat in the truck and we said, hey, you know what, if we're gonna get a divorce, let's be civil. You know, we got kids, we got businesses. We said, well, let's just sit down and just talk about how this all gonna work out. Meaning from a business aspect.
They literally wrote everything down. Who would take what? How the businesses would be split.
How we gonna have the business. And she go her way and I go my way, but we didn't want to compromise and jeopardize everybody else's future because we were stripping. Let's not destroy our business. Let's not turn each other's name down. Let's not do none of that because there's kids, there's family members.
But then, they changed their minds.
By the time the night had reached us, God had changed our heart. And I start thinking back to Jesus when he was on the cross.
They stayed together, but had they already crossed a
Sometimes, you know, people be using their religion and certain things like that to justify certain things. That's the one thing about religion. Like, I'm not the most religious person. I have Christian values. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in a Christian household, so I wouldn't necessarily be fully Christian. But sometimes what I be seeing are these people that'll go and use they beliefs to justify some shit that is not justified.
Point of no return? On November 6th, 2021, something snapped. Inside their luxury apartment in Sandy Springs, Georgia, an argument escalated into something no one saw coming. Kayana, the same woman who preached strength and faith, grabbed a firearm. She fired at Ronell, and then she turned the firearm on herself. When police arrived, they found both of them dead.
What?
Suicide. No history of DV. No past police reports.
What? What she catch this nigga doing? What she catch this nigga doing? What did he say?
No warning signs, except for that eerie Facebook Live. So what really happened between Kayana and Ronell? Some say it was financial pressure, that starting over in a new city put too much strain on them. Some believe their marriage was broken long before the move, and staying together only made things worse. And some think Kayana had reached a breaking point, one she never spoke about until it was too late.
Wow, that last one is insane, bro. Oh my gosh. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Good for y'all. Make sure y'all pull up to the other channel, Astro Plus. We going crazy over there, 50K subs. Love y'all. Appreciate it. We going. AB, let's do it. Today we're reacting to what makes Jay Cinco so attractive, a deep dive. This individual I've been seeing pop up a lot on the internet. You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing him trying to take some of these women by storm. Some of them, like, I just be seeing
I
clips.
don't
You
know
know?
who Jay Cinco is. And I don't care for it. Maybe. The most dangerous city.
I was never intended to be somebody who put time in the head. It was looking intentional. I wouldn't do nothing like that ever. I would never inflict pain on anybody. I'm not victim. I would never do that to nobody. You have to believe me. Why would I do that to somebody? If you look at the footage, you will see that I'm innocent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that type of, I'm not a body. I'm not a body.
This is the outline that we're going to be working with today. And I'm actually going to start with the background. This piece will be a separate color from this back piece here. So let's see what colors I want. Do I have a little more plates in here? Let me go get some more plates. So we have a surplus of these foam plates. So I use these to put my paint on and just throw them away after. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe and like button. Both of them are definitely free. I do more than typically paint on this channel, so you can find a wide variety of things on here. I'll have to change this dress when my husband gets back and ready to go. I'm perfectly fine with it positioned together like that. It's fine. So these are the colors that I'm gonna be going with pretty much.
She just hit my heart, full force, and she got
My other brushes are still being cleaned, so just take this small brush for now.
so hard to find. Baby, like, oh, how'd you do the thing? The way that you were doing it, she ain't even show nothing. She be walking around so confident, so heaven sent. I think she was mad not to me.
There's no rhyme or reason to the colors that I chose today. It is just colors. But I am liking the colors though.
American couple who have taken the internet by storm for all the wrong reasons. Andrew is currently being heavily critiqued as a lazy, unemployed scrub who isn't treating his two-job pregnant wife who does all the housework with the respect she deserves. Now, I'm aware that all of that sounds completely insane, unless you're familiar with the Korean American church, which I'm sure many of you are. The rest of us, however, are sat here wondering how the hell this came to be. Before we get into any of that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I tried to stay PG in my last video, and they say on YouTube that if you swear, your videos get pushed back and you get less publicity, less views, whatever. I think for my channel in particular, it's the exact opposite, however. I had no idea how much you guys appreciated my foul fucking sailor potty mouth. But the amount of comments that I got that were outraged at the mere concept of me attempting to control my profanity for a minute or two, you'd have thought I shot a fucking orphan. So needless to say, all of that's gone in the bin. So subscribe to the channel, you bunch of filthy fucking animals. Anyway, before we talk about the recent podcast that's gone viral everywhere, let's have a look at what got Sarah Kim so popular to begin with, which was videos like these.
Kimchi refill time.
Okay, so obviously that says usually my dad beats her to the fridge. But for some reason, when I was watching this, my brain just decided to stop processing at a point, and I read it as usually my dad beats her. I was like, fucking hell, this is gonna be a very different video from what I imagined. But no, luckily, it's just to the fridge. But yeah, the videos that got Sarah popular to begin with were videos of her, I was going to say mother, but you know what, for this video, let's go for Omonyi. That's for the Korean audience out there. Add a bit of culture to the Dan Kingsbo YouTube channel, a bit of spice, you know what I mean? Omonyi, for those who don't know, is Korean for mother, but only in reference to somebody else's mother. When referring to one's own mother, you can simply remove the N for Omonyi, or just Oma. Anyway, back on topic, Sarah's fame started from usually Korean foods being prepared in her household, such as kimchi in that last one we watched, or crab in this one.
Merry Christmas to me. My mom made rum marinated crab.
Need more sauce.
As you can tell, there's a lot of love in this household, which is great to see, especially for Sarah, only because she's able to eat crab directly over the box where all of the crab is stored, which never would have run in my Arab family. My dad would have chucked me one falafel from the pot and said, if you go near this pot where all the other falafel is made, you're gonna fucking regret it. To be fair, my sister would have got this special treatment. They always get the special treatment. Not resentful, by the way, for any psychoanalysts watching this video. Do not look into that too much. Anyway, shockingly enough, this whole thing is completely separate from the controversy that we're about to cover. That situation begins with Sarah Kim's pregnancy. And that pregnancy was announced in a very sort of standard social media type reveal, which I'm sure will also give you the sort of vibe of this channel and what they're about. There was obviously a bunch of content that these two made about the pregnancy and a bunch of photo shoots or whatever, but there's one particularly interesting video that a lot of people have been commenting on, which is Sarah's parents' reaction to said pregnancy. I want you all to pay a little attention to the dad's reaction specifically, because a lot of people in the comment section are pointing out how he looks a little bit concerned about the whole thing, specifically with Andrew's involvement.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Wow. 진짜? 우리 애기가 애기 낳네? 그랬구나. 내가 요즘에 자꾸 그런 생각 들어가지고. 뭐가? 아니, 자꾸 너가 애기 얘기도 하고, 나 우리 아이들이 언제 애기가 좀 생각했었거든. 어떡해.
I think it'd be interesting look back in this video after we cover everything else that we're about to cover here, because after the podcast clips that a lot of people have been showing more concern at, I think the father's reaction here will make a lot more sense if you see it in that way. I personally don't think he looks as worried or stressed as a lot of people are saying that he does. I mean, I'm no body language expert, but he just looks a bit shocked at the information. Doesn't look like he's, annoyed at Andrew specifically in any sort of way. Some of the top comments here are a bit telling, though. We'll read some of that. Congrats, Andrew, now looks like a threat. We'll see what you think of that when we cover everything else. I mean, he doesn't seem ecstatic, but shocked is a completely normal emotion to feel in this situation, I feel. Maybe he's just not a very eccentric guy. I mean, I'm not really an avid viewer of this girl's content here, so maybe he's just really flamboyant in all the other videos, and this one in particular, he's all stone-faced and shit. And if that's the case, I see why maybe there's cause for concern, but I don't know, I feel like people are reaching here. Especially because the top comment is, oh my god, he still hasn't learned Korean, he's so embarrassing. I just feel like that's needlessly judgmental, to be honest with you, and I feel like I'm going to be having that opinion a lot in this video, because at the end of the day, these are two married individuals who are both adults and can both make their own choices. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some stuff that makes me think, fuck me, Andrew, you're such a scrub. Get your shit together, mate. But for a lot of it, like this Korean thing, for example, give it a rest. Spoiler alert, sometimes second-gen children don't speak their mother tongue. It's fairly common, especially if your parents didn't teach it to you when you were growing up. I ain't never met one second-gen Nigerian who can speak Yoruba. Not one. I ain't never met one second-gen Congolese man who knows French. But if your parents didn't teach it to you growing up, I don't see exactly what you could have done. I mean, even me personally, I'm somewhere in between first and second-gen, and my Arabic is rusty as fuck. I can speak it, but when I go to Egypt and speak Arabic, it's rusty enough for people in Egypt to go, whoa, what's up here? But it feels like shit. It doesn't feel nice to hear. I'm sure a lot of second-gen people who don't speak their mother tongue at all can relate to me when you go to family gatherings or whatever, and all the other parents are looking at you like, oh, you can't speak whatever language this family speaks, and you're kind of sat there like, oh no, and I'm really embarrassed about it, but it's not my fucking fault. My parents didn't teach it to me. What I'm saying right now, by the way, this whole rant is either going to be the most relatable, validating thing ever, or so confusing to you that you have no idea what I'm on about. Either which way, anyways, let's have a look at the actual pressing issue at hand here, which is the podcast that I'm sure you have seen floating about recently. Starting with the infamous PC story.
About 2 weeks before my wedding, I decided to buy a PC.
In the interest of saving everybody's time and not playing 10 minutes of this fucking podcast at once, Andrew basically bought a PC, which for some reason takes him 5 minutes to say in this clip. I won't subject you to that, but essentially Sarah is a light sleeper, and the lights and noises the PC was making while he was playing with his friends were keeping her up. And that leads to this epic interaction.
So I finally sleep, and I find our love seat, which is a little two-person couch that we use in our dining table. So I literally just laid on our love seat. Thank God I'm small enough to fit and use it as a bed. And I must have actually fallen asleep because it's so late. I get woken up by Andrew, and I don't know what time it is. I'm disoriented. He goes, my love, how long were you out here for? And I open my eyes, and the sun is out. This man is one, awake, two, didn't know I was out here till the sun came out. Must have been 7 a.m.
It's probably 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6
It was
is really
winter time
helping
too.
your case.
Yeah, it was winter time, so the sun comes up later.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so upsetting. Is this my life from now on? And I'm like, my love, have you been playing until now? And you're just like, yes. And I don't even know if you turned off your computer still at that point. I think you just ran out because you noticed that I wasn't in bed. And I was like, okay, maybe. And at this point too, I wasn't the healthiest version of myself.
Okay, for future clips, I'm turning it on 1.5 times speed because this is not going to make for a good video. But I mean, yeah, for this clip / story in general, I would say if it's an isolated incident, it really isn't that big a deal. It's one sort of minor fuck up on his side of things, and it is undoubtedly quite shitty and difficult to believe that you would forget your fiance, I think at this point, was in bed with you. But if this was the only bad thing that this podcast highlighted about their relationship, we would not be sat here making this video. You know, this isolated, along with many of the other stories here, if they were isolated as just one thing, it wouldn't really be a big deal. But this in combination in the same room as every other thing that we're about to cover about this bloke, Andrew, makes this story so much worse because it becomes more than an isolated incident and becomes a pattern of behavior, which you'll all see soon.
Definitely, I remember feeling a million things, disappointed, but now I can verbally say things, you know, like, I was so disappointed, I was so sad. I felt like Andrew neglected me or is prioritizing games and time with friends over me. I felt like I wanted him to be able to like say, I don't need to play for a number of the hours because I can stop when I want to stop, which is at a reasonable time. Like I wanted him to be able to do all those things like right away and perfectly. And I had all these just thoughts, like nothing would come out of my mouth other than, I'm sad.
Not even at that at first.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no,
that
that's
was
not
the hard
bad.
part because a part of me was kind of like, oh, she must be annoyed that I was loud. You know, it was like, oh, she was trying to sleep and I kept her awake.
We're still talking about this fucking PC. I've skipped 10 minutes ahead of what we were in before. And they're still on about this bastard PC. I guess the fact that they're talking about it this much could either mean that it was such a one-off instance of ignorance, should we say? This extent because it has relationship, which would be a good thing.
The camera fell.
Maybe there's some miscommunications going on here, and there's like a barrier in between them where they can't